This is the Cash Considerations podcast with three guys from Pittsburgh, Philly, and Boston talking sports. God help us all. This is the show. Take it away, Dave.
Welcome to the Cash Considerations podcast, part 2. It is Wednesday, September 22nd. We are in the midst of the end of the Major League Baseball season. For most of you who've been betting it, you stopped betting it a long time ago. College football, we are right in the middle of that, but we're probably barely going to address that tonight, probably with some laying and taking. NFL, of course, we're going to talk about that. Week 3, we got a lot to talk about. This is the show. I am Dave Sharapan, the Sportsbook Consigliere. That's Sports BK Consig on Twitter. On the TikTok, the show is at Cash Considerations. And on Twitter, it's at Cash Consid Show. Neuby got me with the chat. And speaking of Dan Alexander / Dan Newbert / Neuby Talks on Twitter, Dan Newbert, executive producer, co-host of the show. Good job with the chat. What's up? How are you, sir?
Yeah, man. Is there an echo in here? I feel like we just did this. No, happy to be here. Happy that we are recording another edition of the Cash Considerations podcast. Also now on YouTube, folks.
Yes.
So check us out. See our ugly mugs up there on the screen. But happy to be back here with you, brother.
We're back. Yeah, we're on video. We're on audio. We're getting all over the place on the socials. Also tonight with us, as always, Carl Haskell at Carl Haskell on Twitter, rapidly approaching the 300 follower mark. CH, don't think we're not watching those numbers. What's up, man? How are you, sir?
How are you? How you doing? Let's go. It's the best night of the week.
Let's go. That's what he does. Before we go, and welcome in our guest, we have a redaction, a correction, a score ruling. Actually, like at the book, you have to kind of grade, refund losing tickets. What did you, we always take a minute at the end. I'm going to give you a minute right now to kind of address the situation.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave. And thanks to Neuby and to our guests for allowing me to take a minute early in the show here to address something. I'll be reading from a prepared statement and won't be taking any questions at this time. Something happened on our show last week that I need to address so we can put this incident behind us and move on. As Dave, Neuby, and our faithful listeners and viewers on YouTube know, I take my role on the show very seriously. The three of us are a solid team, and as much as I would like to share the blame, I know that the responsibility for this issue lies solely with me. Both as a co-host and coordinating producer, I have several responsibilities, and perhaps none are more important than this one. Thank you to friend of the show, Sean in Baltimore, for bringing this issue to our attention. Neuby, as much as we don't want to relive it, could you play the clip for us, please?
I do like that Carl made sure he got at least one photo up there. I respect that. And I love that one that he picks, because if you look quick enough, it almost looks like it's the Brandon Graham sack on Tom Brady in Super Bowl 52. If you look quick enough. So that's one of my favorites when he hangs that one up there.
So as you heard, Neuby mentioned Tom Brady's name just 2 minutes and 42 seconds into the show, and I missed it. For the previous 39 episodes, I've worked hard to ensure that the name of the greatest to ever play the game is mentioned and recognized on each show. We even have an over-under prop each week based on the time in the show that it happens. Perhaps it was my concern for my internet issues over the prior couple of weeks, but I make no excuses for my failure. The fault is mine and mine alone. I will work harder and I will be better. And that's all I have to say at this time.
Wow. I don't even know how we can go forward after that. That's a closing take a minute for opening segment. Carl Haskell. It has duly been noted. Thank you, Sean in Baltimore. Really appreciate that, pointing that out, emailing the show at it's cashconsidershow@gmail.com. Thank you for letting us know via DMs. You can reach us, and we encourage you to do so. We've had a contest. People left reviews, emailed us, and we gave Ringo a ticket to win on the World Series. He picked his team. It is the White Sox. Actually, the hat I have on tonight. And Sean, like calling in like a golf tournament, like there was a rule violation, and he called it in. Appreciate it. All right, enough of that. We got to welcome in our guest because he's staying up late. Oh, we got another Boston guy. Neuby. I mean, this is already, I can see how this is 2-on-2. He is Julian Edlow, which you can find him on Twitter at Julian Edlow, Draftkings content specialist, host of the Unreasonable Odds podcast, which you can find at Unreasonable Odd, no S. We'll get to that in a second. Jules, what's up, man? How are you, sir? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing great. It is 10:20 p.m. Eastern as you pitch it to me. Can I go to bed yet?
No. That's it. Settle in.
I'm just kidding. I
told you, get the coffee. You're ready to go.
I'm doing great. I like this week in the NFL. It is a really interesting teaser week, I think.
Oh boy.
So we get 2-3 of these a year where there are like a lot of legitimate teaser legs. So I'm excited to talk some NFL. Got a couple of college football takes. Got plenty of Tom Brady takes. I got my Tom Brady signed jersey hanging on the wall right up there in the office.
Son of a bitch.
You guys are gonna be like this Sunday is a nice Bucks Rams game coming up, but next Sunday is Tom Brady coming back to Foxborough. Like I'm gonna talk about that a little bit. I might even give a bet on that just weeks away because we're already here. You guys have another guest next week. I need to give some takes on that game.
Oh my God. What the hell just happened, Neuby? I don't even know what just happened. I
lost control of the show.
Lost complete control. Those Boston guys just take the shit over. You say, come on the show, and he's talking about Tom Brady, cash the double ticket, 2-game parlay. God damn it. All right. So we're going to do what we do. We're going to do the Julian interview. Then we're going to, swing it around real quick. Just a quick mention of baseball because pretty much everybody doesn't give a shit except me. So we'll do a real quick baseball segment. We'll do some college football laying or taking where we're going to be quick, almost minimal opinion, but we're keeping track of it now. We want to just kind of prove that the fact that nobody knows shit, we're picking the games. I'm watching them. I'm watching the lines, but even if you guys aren't, you're picking them and we're about even. I mean, everybody's close. So we know when to fade each other, and pretty much our consensus really still stinks when we're all the guest and us are all on a game. It's usually a loser. Then, of course, we'll get to the in the gun segment, everybody's favorite segment, except when we do Carl's Corner, because that's other people's favorite segment. That one we'll save for the end, and it's been getting bumped because we've been running long, but we're going to mention that and then take a minute and we're out. All right. So, Julian, it's late. We've got to ask you questions. First question every week of every guest that comes on this show. Hard-hitting question. We just get it out of the way. Where are you from?
I am from Newton, Massachusetts, which is just a few miles west of Boston, Massachusetts.
Born and raised?
Born and raised. Lovely little city, actually. But
Where'd you go to college?
Lucky. What's up?
Where'd you go to college?
I went to the University of Rhode Island. I'm a Rhodey Ram. I almost went Rhodey Ram gear tonight, and then I wound up in Celtics. You get to working in sports, and that's something I'm sure we'll talk about in this interview. I actually started in, covering the Celtics, doing some coverage stuff before getting into the sports betting realm, and it makes it harder. I'm still a fan, but it makes it harder to be a fan. So the Rhode Island Rams basketball team is somehow the team that I care the most about now because it's your school. And they are every single year, ESPN does last 4 in, first 4 out, next 4 out. URI is the first 4 out every year. So that is what we're famous for. They break my heart every year. So that's where
I got cool gear though. Do you got cool gear? I love those colors.
I do love the we call it Keeney blue because our gym is Keeney Gymnasium. Frank Keeney, he invented the fast break or something at URI, literally.
Wow.
Yeah. No walking it up for the Rhodey Rams. But yeah, we got the Keeney blue, we got the navy blue, very, very good colors. So yeah,
that's great stuff.
I stayed local for college, stayed in Rhode Island, very special place to me. Love Newport, Rhode Island. If you're ever in New England, you want to go on vacation, go to Newport, Rhode Island. But yeah, I was fortunate to grow up very close to the city of Boston and be able to growing up I was born in the late 80s. I'm 33. I turned 34 this fall. So
you're one of them kids that don't know. You don't know about the Boston thing.
Before my friends and I were, fortunate enough to get that first Super Bowl and just start winning everything.
Love this guy.
we would hop on the T, go downtown, go to Celtics games for $5, Red Sox games when everybody sucked. So it was fun to grow up in that atmosphere and get into sports like that. And then by the time we were a little bit older, everybody was winning and we were into sports, and you go to all the games, and it was great.
Did you play sports in high school?
I played basketball. I didn't play basketball for my high school team. We were very good. Won back-to-back state championships. Several. We were having bench players go on to play college basketball, so I had no chance.
No.
Newton North Tigers, very good basketball program at the time.
Height, weight check for you. How tall are you?
Oh man, we get into it all here. Well, I'm just cracking 5'8".
Oh wow! So you're a small point guard. I thought I mean, these videos. I thought you were like 6'1".
Everybody looks big on video. No.
Man.
I'm really glad we have to get into height and weight here. I'm like,
you got handle? Do you got handle?
I would consider myself a ball handler, a floor general, and I'll knock down my jumpers. But also now we're getting into the weight thing. Like now I'm a dad in my 30s, so now I'm like in the 180s. So
it's brutal.
When the men's league games get underway, I'm just huffing and puffing.
Are you still playing?
Not since COVID. I haven't played in like a basketball league since COVID, but when COVID hit, I was in a men's league. Yeah, it's great.
Are you stretching and stuff before you could get hurt? No, now you're a dad.
No,
you got this is bad. Stretching. Oh, listen, you're the content specialist. You can't be getting hurt in the men's league on Tuesday nights. What the hell are you doing?
Fortunately for me, I can do my job from a chair for like the rest of my life. I could sit in this room. I just need food to be slid under the door and I'm fine. That's how if you want to work in sports, content creation, sports gambling, you're going to have some screens in front of you the majority of the day.
So what did you do after school at Rhode Island then? You got into covering. Did you go right into covering Boston teams, or did you have to go like away and get the small place and then come back?
Neither. I mean, naturally at 22, I was young and lazy. So I just got a job in communications for a hospital actually in the Boston area.
Okay.
And I was just doing like newsletters, website stuff, living in a nice crappy basement apartment, just getting by. And eventually, probably after like a few years, I was just like, all right, I mean, getting into the sports industry, that's not going to come to you. You got to get into that. So that turned into, being fortunate enough to talk to some media connections that I did have in the area, start up your own Celtics blog, then wrote for a bigger Celtics blog called Celtics Life. And then after haggling different people as much as I could on the phone, the Celtics had just traded Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. They sucked. And I got a gig writing the NBA draft column for weei.com. And that was the first real gig in sports where it felt like it was real. And then, that team was pretty bad. The new Brad Stevens era. You got Rondo not really trying. Marcus Smart's like your guy. So it was pretty bad. So eventually just getting asks to, hey, can you cover this game? Can you cover that game? Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Right.
And I was doing the Celtics with WEI for a little over 3 seasons part-time.
Okay.
It's all while doing the day job, because you can't just jump in and become an NBA beat writer.
No, it's such a grind. No one quite understands it. They're like, oh yeah, he's just covering games. No, I'm working all day and I'm hustling to get to the game to cover the game.
Exactly. I'm not just twiddling my thumbs, eating steak and lobster all day, waiting for the game to tip off. You work, and then you take the tea to the game, and then you cover it, and then you get home at 2 a.m.
Right.
I did not need much sleep back in those days.
Right.
But eventually, covering sports is fun, but it's a lot of going all over the place. It's a lot of weird hours. Being a beat writer is a ton of respect for anybody.
Did you ever go on the road with the team?
Only once or twice. I was mostly like part-time doing all the home.
Okay.
And the rest of that was just basically nobody wanted to have it in the budget at that time to pay you to travel. Right. So you say, all right, we'll do it part-time. We'll do half the season. Your half of the season is the home games.
Yeah. Right.
So that makes sense. But after a while, Draftkings started getting a little bigger in Boston, making some noise. I've always really enjoyed, at the time, this was more the fantasy side of things.
Right.
I was 24, 25 years old. So like when I was betting games, we're talking like $25, $20 bets. And I'm like,
no money.
Yeah, I'm pissed when I lose. And of course, I know nothing about the betting industry at the time. So I'm on
Right.
every square play that you could possibly imagine.
Yes.
Don't even know some injuries or whatever. But yeah, eventually got in touch with DraftKings, linked up with them, started doing all the fantasy stuff. And then the sports betting boom came. And that's something that interested me a lot. So I said, I'll take the lead on some of the sports book stuff. And here we are.
And now, so have you ever been to Vegas? You got any Vegas stories you want to share? Like you got a good one? I mean, there's people have come here to get stupid. People have come here and go out the first night, end up in their room for 2 days and then go back. Like there's been all kind of people have come on the show and told some good Vegas stories. Do you have any Vegas trip stories that you can share or want to share? If not, that's fine too.
No, how good are these stories that I'm competing with? How X-rated do they get?
Oh, I mean, we've had a couple doozies.
I'm not gonna go there. I like my job, but
oh yeah, we don't want to get you in trouble. We definitely don't want to get you in trouble.
For somebody in my position in my industry, I've been to Vegas surprisingly few times. I've only been a couple times.
Okay.
Now half of that reason is that, I've been on the sportsbook side of things for like 4 years, and 2 of those years have been COVID. So I'm very excited to get back. I think at DraftKings, I'm there in March Madness. So you will see me there in March Madness. I'm not missing that. Okay. And then I think we're working on going out there for the NFL draft, which is in Vegas. So
yes,
hopefully I'm going to be making some appearances. But in my other appearances, I mean, we went for the 2019 March Madness for my buddy's bachelor party. I was the best man, so I'd like playing stuff go. I'm like, all right, we're going for March Madness. He and I are very big sports bettors. The rest of the group is like trying to go by the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just turned into, we couldn't break the group up. So it turned into us dragging people in and out of sports books and then them getting mad. And then we wind up at these pool parties, which are like, it was a bachelor party. So I had to plan a big pool party. So now we're in one of these cabanas I don't even remember where it was. We're getting the bottle service and whatnot. Way too much money. And everybody else is into this. There's girls all over the place, obviously.
Yeah. And
all I'm doing is looking at this little TV smaller than my laptop that we have in our cabana, sweating way too much money on Kentucky played a smaller school that year. Wow. This is gonna piss me off. I'll find it while we're going.
Not Murray State. It was a purple school, wasn't it?
Murray State smoked Marquette that year with John Morant. I remember that was an easy one.
Yeah, it was a purple school, I think, that beat Kentucky. Would they beat them, right? Or they got it down to the end?
They covered by the hook at the buzzer.
Yeah,
Wofford.
That's who it was. Yeah, Wofford.
I had Kentucky minus 5.5 against Wofford. They won 62-56.
Yes.
Everybody else I was with had their eyes in the back of their head, talking to girls in bikinis at the pool, getting vodka dumped down their throat. And I'm sitting there scratching the back of my neck with my eyes popping out of my head, sweating all over the place because it's 2 million degrees there. Watching Wofford huck up a half-court shot and just praying that it does not go in.
Right. Yep. Yeah. That's pretty typical for March Madness Vegas.
I'm excited to get back. Spend more time in the book.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit different. Speaking of books, so at DraftKings, what is your role? Like, explain to the listeners kind of, because I mean, I have the question here. What exactly is a content specialist? And are you actually trying to help people win money, or are you working for the damn book? Because there's a zillion people that want to know what you do and why you do it.
Very important question right there. Both of them, actually. What is a content contributor? It's not the best description, but like that's how a lot of places want to label it. It basically is an overall umbrella of somebody that is able to, create a lot of different types of articles that fall under a lot of different umbrellas. So you got to be able to write. You need to be able to write about giving out a play. You need to be able to write about betting splits or the sportsbook side of things. You need to be able to write about the fantasy side of things, specifically the DFS, daily fantasy side of things. You have to be able to write up news when fantasy or betting related news comes out. That's what our like DK Live handle is kind of keeping you plugged into the news. You need to be a personality ready to go on camera, represent the people at Draftkings, whether it's something obviously more casual like this, or, you know, getting ready to do an MLB Network segment like you do.
Right.
And things of that nature. You got to be able to podcast. So yeah, now all that said, I'm very happy with my job. I feel very blessed to be able to talk about sports, talk about sports betting. But there is an grind element to it, not as much as the beat writing, being a reporter covering sports, I don't think.
Right.
But your second question, important one.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people see the DraftKings name attached to it, or whoever other's name attached to it, and think that I am trying to give a play that will lose you money. Now, first of all,
a lot of people think this, by the way, on social media and all this stuff. They're like, this guy's giving me bullshit. I mean, that's what people say.
Now, first of all, professional sports bettors hit at what? You got to be hitting 53% to break even, 54, 55%, you're making profit.
Yeah.
So if I'm trying to give you the wrong side, like, what are we talking about? 53 to 47%. Like, I'm going to know which one I'm giving you. Oh, I'm giving them the wrong side of this one. When so many of these games are coin flip games, like, to have the ability to do that, I think is kind of ridiculous. Like, it's obvious the Bills minus 7.5 this week, so I'm going to give out Washington plus 7.5. Washington will probably hit. Like, who knows? I
don't know if you've heard it, but there's this thing going around. It's a hashtag. Nobody knows shit. I've been saying it now. Yes, it's kind of a thing. Like, let's just be honest. I mean, it's really hard. It's hard to pick games. It's hard to give out winners. And for people to say he's giving me bullshit, they want me to lose at the book. It has nothing to do with that, right?
And so, but there's so many more layers. Like, I could talk, and I could talk about this for a long time, because it's a conception that I see all the time. People saying you work for DraftKings, so you're trying to help make me lose money. Number one, I have a reputation. I love DraftKings. I would love to be with DraftKings for my career.
Right.
It's entirely possible I could work somewhere else one day. I have a reputation to keep up on my own of keeping my following happy, giving out good plays. I don't want to come on here and give out all losers. Like,
no,
I don't. Why would I want to do that? So there's that element of it. And then, like, so I don't even remember where I was going.
Don't worry about it.
It's impossible.
It's hard to do.
It's impossible to try and give out losers almost. Like,
it's just as hard to give out the losers as it is the winners. So why would you give out the losers? You're giving out the winners.
Here's my last point on it. Like, number two, it's also on you to be responsible with your bankroll. So, like, here's why a sports book in theory would use me. Maybe I'm not a professional handicapper that's going to give out, top-notch winners, but I'm a decent sports bettor. I have my job for a reason.
Yeah.
Now, if I give you out something and you're reading my articles and you're betting $50 a game and you win, now you have $100 in your account. Now you need to keep that $100 and get another sharp play and keep going.
Right.
You can just take that and go, oh, Julian gave me a winner. Now that's the last bet in his article at 8:00. Now it's 10:00 and I'm going to bet $100 on this game. Well, that's how you lose it. I made you money. You lost it on your own.
Yes.
So there's so many elements to it. DK Sportsbook did a odds boost in the playoffs. Giannis to get a double-double. He had a double-double in every playoff game at the time.
Yes.
He was minus 500 to get a double-double. Yep. It was the game that he got hurt in, and he got hurt with 8 rebounds.
Took everybody's money.
You could bet $25 to win $25. Number one, that shows the randomness of everything, that it hit 11 games in the playoffs and then doesn't hit that game. Number two, guess what DraftKings did? The odds boosts were on a bad streak at the time, so DraftKings just said, guys, take it. You win. Like, here's your money.
Right.
Now it's on you to do something good with it.
Yep. All right, CH, what do you got for your Boston brother here? I mean, you just, save some time for the rest of us for the show, but what do you got for Julian?
So I'll go pretty quick. So you had the complete opposite Boston sports childhood than I had, because I grew up with them losing and you grew up with them winning. Which one, if there is just one, was your favorite memory of something happening in Boston?
So I'm growing up. I was a diehard Celtics fan, honestly. And the Super Bowls were great, but they were just contending for them so often. And like the first one was such a surprise. Obviously, that was special. Here's a number for you. You want to talk Tom Brady? Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl.
How many times are you gonna fucking say it, Jules?
Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl when I was in middle school.
Oh.
I turned 34 years old next week. I have a wife and kid.
Oh
that's the type of run we're on here.
Oh.
Even though he's obviously doing it in Tampa now, good for him. But the 08 Celtics championship meant the most to me personally, just because I grew up such a big Celtics fan.
Anything is possible.
Great moment. We got Paul Pierce holding up the MVP trophy right here.
Man, they got all the pictures. They got the pictures. They got the.
I got nighttime in Pittsburgh. Nighttime in Pittsburgh. All I got here.
I got my Twitter handle. That's all. That's all I got.
A night game. That nice view from PNC Park is very nice. I love PNC Park.
That is fair.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, Three Rivers right there. So the only thing that I was kind of wondering, you kind of mentioned your wife, you mentioned your kids. So like when you're in full on dad mode, you're going to be making like a lot of PB&Js, a lot of crust cut off. I'm wondering, I'm like the food guy in this contingent. Like if we ever have a CC picnic, these mother effers are going to make me cook all the food. So I'm wondering, can you cook at all? And if you can, do you have a specialty, Julian?
I'm a huge food guy for sure.
I love it.
Love restaurants. Love going out to eat.
Yeah.
I used to cook a little bit more. Now my wife mostly handles what's inside the kitchen, and I'm the grill guy.
Nice.
So we've always had apartments, so I would always go down and grill. Now it's nice. I have a house now, so now we have a deck that I can go out and grill on. And great purchase right here. My Father's Day gift, actually, a smoker.
Ooh, I want a smoker so bad, man.
Dude, they're not even that expensive.
I know.
Awesome.
Is it as life changing as people that get one say it is? Like it's that good?
It's up there. It's pretty hard to mess up. Like you make ribs that come out of that smoker and you put those like hickory chips in there. Like you can't mess it up. Like you just smoke it for 4 hours in the smoke and then smother that sauce on there. So like ribs, pulled pork, brisket. I haven't done pork belly yet. I want to do pork belly. And then I saw something else, lamb chops or rack of lamb or whatever in the smoker. It's supposed to be unbelievable. Those ones are coming up next.
Look at what he's got an invite to the CC picnic.
He's in.
I'm not making everything. He's bringing the smoker. I'll bring the steaks. We'll figure it all out.
There we go.
That sounds great. All right. Last question. Little known fact that if I had a son, which I don't, I have 3 daughters, I was going to name him Julian or Jules. I just love the name. I always thought of that. And Julius Irving was my favorite basketball player back in the day. So I didn't
know any of this.
Yeah. So a little known fact. We drop these every once in a while. But my last question before we move on to the sports stuff is, what do you got to do to get one of those fucking DraftKings hats? That's all I want to know. Whatever I got to do now that I got you on the show, they look nice. I see you wearing them all the time. You wear them backwards. I sometimes wear them. It's fine. Frontwards, backwards. What do I got to do to get one of them DraftKings hats, Jules?
I'm working on some for you. I'm working on like some packages. I know B-How. Shout out to the Game Within the Game.
That's it. Yes.
He's a DraftKings podcast. Obviously, you are the Monday guest there. I'm the Thursday guest there.
Yes.
But he works with DraftKings. Therefore, you work with DraftKings. So I've been working on some different shows that I do that are connected to DraftKings on potentially getting some gear going.
Okay. All right.
I know that yours. See, this is the thing. Like, they don't tell me. I'm like, I'm running out of like DraftKings stuff to wear on camera. Can you send me stuff? They just go, sure, and then stuff comes. Like I never know what I'm getting. So I need to for you. I need to be like, this guy likes hats. You have to get him. I
like hats. I like quarter zips. I like all that shit. Whatever you got. The DraftKings thing is cool. But this guy needs a hat. We're gonna put it on. We're gonna put it on everywhere we go. So there you go. All right. He's Julian Edlow. You can find him on Twitter at Julian Edlow, EDLOW, the DraftKings content specialist, the host of the Unreasonable Odds podcast, which is at Unreasonable Odd. There's no S. So maybe if that comes up again, we'll get to actually why there's no S.
We ran out of characters. It's simple. We ran out of characters.
15 is the
That's your
number, 16 in a thing. Okay, fair enough. That's fine. Ran out of characters. Now we know. All right, before we move on to the sports, I got to mention the Bookit Sports app. What's better than winning a bet? Doing it with your friends. On the Bookit Sports app, you can talk about the game, track your action, and buy picks straight from the pros, whether you like MLB, NBA, or NHL. But now, if you like football, come sweat out your bets with one of the fastest growing communities in sports betting. Start building your following and stand out amongst your friends by downloading Bookit Sports today for free on the Apple and Google Play stores. Bookit Sports is available for download in all 50 states. That is Bookit with Trent on Twitter. He was the guest last week on the show. We had a lot of fun. Right now, Trent is on an unbelievable run. Whatever he touches turns to shit. So if you follow him, like, he's giving you losers. I mean, people are accusing Julian of giving you losers. Trent is. You can follow him on all the socials. He's on TikTok, all over the place. Does some great work there. Instagram, Twitter. Go follow Trent in the Bookit Sports app right there. All right, baseball, real quick. We call it the Bon Dia, Bon Tarde, Bon Noche part of the show in my deference to my time in Curacao. Quick question for the Boston guys. AL wild card. Carl, you're the old guy. You get to go first. You cashed out your bet for the people. You had a Boston to not make the playoffs bet. They're the wild card team, are they not?
Yeah, was I supposed to say that that's not for air when I said that before the show?
Oh,
yes,
shit. Did I? You didn't say that. I was worried. So you got me so worried about the restart, fucked it up, and then, the apology and everything else, and how many times we couldn't even make a number for how many times we're going to say fucking Tom Brady tonight on this show, because you got Jules here now. Yeah. So 2 generations. Red Sox in, Red Sox out. What do you got?
Their schedule is so cake the rest of the way. They're in.
All right. You don't even know what it was like to lose the Red Sox. Did you watch that documentary 30 for 30 with the Red Sox losing to the Mets? Julian, have you watched that yet?
Yeah, I saw it.
It was great.
I wasn't around in 1986. They did stink in the 90s, like my whole time growing up. But
are they going to make the playoffs?
I think they are. That dip that they had coming out of the All-Star break was pretty pathetic. They seem to have leveled off. Getting Sale back made the difference, because then you get that win every 5 days that has just kept them steady. So it's interesting. Like I said to you guys before we went on, if we got a Yankees Red Sox wild card game at Fenway Park, count me in for my first ticket to Fenway since pre-COVID.
I can't wait. I've been saying it for weeks that this is going to be the wild card game, and Yankees win tonight. Blue Jays lost, actually. So if the season ended today, the Yankees would be playing at Boston in a 1-gamer. Sale, Cole, Sale, small favorite. See you later, Yankees. Boston wins that. Bon Tarde, the second part of this wild card question. San Francisco and LA, the loser is going to be the 1 wild card. Last week when we did the show, St. Louis started their winning streak. They haven't lost since. Jules, I'll throw it back to you. Is St. Louis the second wild card team in the National League? Yes or no?
They're playing like it. Man.
They got a 3.5 game lead, 4-game lead on the other teams. San Diego looks done. And Cincinnati looks done. And I'm not even mentioning Philly for Neuby's sake.
I'm looking right now at standings here. I mean, we're coming down the stretch. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say they're in.
Carl.
Yeah, and what happened to the Padres? Man, what a shame. Jeez. Jesus, they're only 2 games over. 2 games over 500 now.
I think the Padres are going to have the worst ROI this season in terms of betting if you bet a team every game.
Well, what happens when you put Jake Arrieta in the rotation on the regular? Like, you went and got Jake Arrieta and put him in the playoff race. Like, he couldn't pitch 2 years ago, and they threw him in there. Velasquez started tonight. I mean, it's not working. They're fighting in the dugout. They're done. I say yes, St. Louis is in, and the last thing I wanted to mention before we move on to the football is, what if the Dodgers and the Giants tie after the regular season? So they finish Sunday with a tie. They have to play a one-gamer on Monday to determine who wins the division and who wins the wild card. And then the wild card team has to play Tuesday against the Cardinals in Wainwright, who's pitching like it's 1999 again, or whenever he was good before. This thing could affect the odds so many different ways. So it's something that for people that don't care about baseball, don't like it, just keep an eye on it. Remember that you heard it on the Cash Considerations podcast when old man Dave was talking about baseball on the Bon Tarde, Bon Noche episode or segment of the show. And then you'll go, oh yeah, that was good. So, and if you don't remember that, I'm probably going to say it on the Better's Eye with Keith Irizarry at some point as well. So that's it for the baseball. Before we move on to the college football, I just wanted to mention, for all your college and pro hats, check out All Campus on the Ocean City, New Jersey boardwalk. Social media is at All Campus OC on both Instagram and Twitter, or catch us on the A2D radio podcast every Saturday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. They do a show live from the store on the boardwalk. I'm on the show. Neuby's eventually here going to be on the show. They don't want to talk to the Boston guys. That's a PA thing only. So fuck off. You guys aren't going to talk about that unless the Patriots play the Eagles or something. I don't know. They had rules. They said, we don't need Boston guys. You got enough of them. So that's it for that. All right. College football later taken. Let's play this real quick. It's just fire a game at you. We don't need much explanation. Like when I say we don't need much, like none. If you don't want to, just say laying or taking. We're keeping track of this shit because we keep saying nobody knows shit. So you don't even have to watch the games. You don't even have to know anything where they're playing. I'm going to give you the line, and I'm going to go around in a circle. Everybody gets to go first twice. So if you don't want to be the consensus guy and you want to play third base like you're at a blackjack table, just make the call and go from there. I'll start. First game, college game. This may be the marquee game of the week just by name, or maybe I'm a little biased because it's Big Ten and it's Notre Dame. CH made the list. I'm going with CH's list. We do the show with me and Brad Howe. It's called 8 in the Box. We talk just a little more deeper dive. It's available where you get podcasts as well at Brad Howe 07. Him and Julian are going to do the game within the game tomorrow. Julian's going to be a little bit tired, but he's going to do the show with Brad. And
I'll power through.
Yeah, you'll power through. I know you got it. He's got all kind of stuff planned for you after Monday. So he kind of gave me a little heads up there. You wore that Alabama thing last week on the show. You looked great, by the way.
Covered the first half. They got there.
They did. They did.
They did not get there for the game.
They did not. They did not. If you were laying or taking like we all were, we were laying, and I don't think we got there. Anyhow,
I would have said laying too, but I just played first half with Bama.
Okay. Game number 1. Notre Dame is playing Wisconsin at Soldier Field in Chicago. The line are we using the Draftkings lines in New Hampshire or wherever you got them, Carl? Did you get those lines from there?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. All
right.
Fair enough. I got the lines that Carl gave me, the coordinating producer. Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine. The consensus line. That's fine. We use consensus line. That's it.
And then you shop for your own lines. Go to DraftKings, get your lines, get your props. So you know what I mean? It all works out.
Do that.
I'm curious to see what number we have on this one.
Wisconsin -6.5. I'll start. Yep. I'm laying. There's no way. I don't think Notre Dame's team total under. I don't think they score much. The game total is 46.5 for a college football game is really low. I like that under as well. Jules, you start us off. Wisconsin laying or taking 6.5.
Yeah, it's interesting because the look ahead here before the season was a pick. And like you said, there's not going to be so many points. So you lean to the under. So it makes it really hard for me not to take the points with close to a touchdown with Notre Dame.
Yep.
But this Notre Dame team stinks. Like the lower ranked team is a touchdown favorite on a neutral field. I feel like that's a giveaway as to what's going to happen here. I will also lay them.
Carl, laying or taking?
Lay. Next.
Easy. Neuby.
So I guess that means I got to book everybody. I'm taking the points here with Notre Dame. Wisconsin's last game was on September 11th. So, you know what I mean? You could ask, is it the age-old question? Is it the rest or is it the rust? Everybody wants the other shoe to drop on this horrible Notre Dame team. I think it is going to drop, but it's not until they keep going up in the rankings and then they break the heart of the Fighting Irish fans. So give me the Fighting Irish getting the points, 6.5. I'll be the lone withstander there, Dave.
If this one keeps going, like, here's how unconfident I am. If this one keeps going to like 7.5, now I'm looking at Notre Dame.
That's right. I think 7's the buy point if you're looking to take Notre Dame. Just my opinion, but I think it's not going to blow past 7, but it's going to be a big need for the books. I'm sure, you know, again, and you do a great job with that, Jules, putting out the splits and all that stuff. So you'll be able to see that by Saturday. All right. Second game, Julian, you lead off. Texas is hosting Texas Tech. The line is 7.5. It's a Big 12 game with a soon to be SEC team in Texas, even though guys like Bama Mafia picks don't want them people in their conference, but they're coming in. They're laying 7.5. Julian, you laying or taking?
Yeah. Texas Tech is good, and this number has shrunk a lot, but I think it has shrunk to the point where at home I'm probably going to lay it with Texas.
Okay. Carl, laying or taking?
Agreed. I'm laying.
Neuby, minus 7.5. Texas Longhorns, laying or taking?
They already had their wake-up call, right? When Arkansas rolled them, hook them, minus 7.5, I'm laying.
Oh, 2 games. Can't have a consensus. You damn well know I'm taking Texas Tech. I'm taking easy. Iowa State at Baylor. All right. Carl, you lead us off. Iowa State is at Baylor. Iowa State is laying 7. Both teams are 3-0. We broke this one down with me and B House, so I have a really dialed in opinion. You start us off. Laying on the road or taking it home?
Give me the points. I'll take them.
All right. Neuby? You're on mute. You muted yourself.
Sorry about that. So
I thought it was an internet thing. Holy shit. How funny would that have been? We would have needed Bama Mafia, who I just mentioned, to
another fundraiser
to get.
It's crazy though. Your
God.
mic works way better when it's not muted. It's the craziest fucking thing. What I was saying when I was just talking to myself here in the Buckhead studios is that this line is begging you to take Baylor. 3-0 team at home as a home dog of a touchdown, right?
Yeah,
it's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
That's me coughing because all the chalk I'm eating. Give me Iowa State, the Cyclones, and the road chalk. I'll lay the 7 here.
PA guys laying. I'm taking Iowa State. I think they house Baylor. Julian, laying or taking?
I mean, this is where I'm supposed to be different and go with the home dog, right? Or actually, no, we had one Baylor. Baylor is not as good as this number is indicating. They just happen to have a 3-0 next to their name. I'll lay it with Iowa State.
Okay. Carl's on an island, kind of where he likes it. That's okay. It's probably not a bad
I need to
thing.
make up a little bit of ground. I'll take it.
Yep. We didn't advertise that the laner. We're going to do that later with the records for the in the gun and all that other stuff. Clemson, NC State. I cannot figure out what to make of Clemson, but they are 9.5 point favorites at NC State. Neuby, laying or taking 9.5 with Clemson?
I mean, that's it. Like the number is just it sucks. But the Wolfpack hasn't played anybody. And I'm not saying that Clemson has, but this is going to be the first defense that NC State has played. I think Clemson's defense is a lot more decent than the competition they've been playing. And offensively for Clemson and quarterback DJ Uiagalelei nailed it. This is the chance that they can actually show we can score some points. Again, I guess I'm eating the chalk. I should have just not eaten dinner since I'm eating the chalk our whole recording session. Minus 9.5 Clemson. That's where I'm going.
So, friend of the show, Dr. Greg, gave me this one. He called it his penicillin play of the week. No matter how many bad decisions you make over the weekend, this play is going to make up for all of it and make you feel good. NC State plus the points, live on the money line. This may be the game that finally catches Clemson. I don't know about that, but I'm taking 9.5 with NC State. What do you got, Jules?
Yeah, NC State is good. I've bet them. I think I've bet them all three of their games. It did not work on the road in the SEC, but
No, it
it
did
worked
not.
very well in the other ones. Yeah, give me the points with NC State. Here's a bonus one for you right here. The 48 total. This is going to be a defensive game, under 48.
Ooh, I like that.
Yep.
CH, what you got?
I'll lay.
Okay.
Based on everything you guys just said.
Yep.
I'll lay.
Easy. That's
Great
perfect.
value on Clemson.
Carlin, no penicillin is what that that's what that means, Dave.
All right. Nebraska, Michigan State. Jesus Christ. Are we talking about this game? I can't believe it. Nebraska, Michigan State, Big Ten. It's unbelievable. Michigan State, are they good? They're -5. Nebraska's not, but Nebraska played Oklahoma good last week. So I think this number's coming down. I'm not buying any of this shit. Give me Michigan State -5. I'm laying. What do you got, Julian?
Oh man, I hate this game. Like I don't want to bet this game, but
Nobody does. I don't even know how it made the goddamn list. But the guy got the formula every week. One game finds its way on where you go, oh, this guy wants to talk about this. Okay, go ahead.
I gotta pick it. I'll just fade what I've seen from Nebraska. It's almost like like Nebraska's, coming off a high, even though it was a loss. I'll take Michigan State at home.
Okay. CH, your game.
It is my game. I'm going to take Nebraska. I'm going to take the points. Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay. Newbie, laying or taking? Michigan State, Nebraska.
I don't think Scott Frost gets fired during the season, but I don't think he makes it another season in Nebraska.
Ooh.
And I think this is a big spot. I mean, you look at this game, a lot of people look at it and they say, this isn't going to be on my TV. Sparty's going to be up for this game. This is a short line, in my opinion, from what I've seen from them. I know they haven't played anybody like Nebraska has. Yeah. I'll lay 5 points. If this was closer to a touchdown, I would look the other way, but it's a weird line. At 5, I think I go Sparty.
Absolutely. Okay. 2 games left. Carl, South Florida, BYU. BYU's 23.5. They won that game against Utah. They won that game against Arizona State. They're laying a gigantic number. You laying or taking at home against South Florida?
Yep, they're going to cover a gigantic number too. I'll lay.
All right, I was trying to get you to say South Florida.
Yeah, nice try.
Yeah, I tried. I knew you. See
I'm on to your little games.
I know. Newbie, what do you got?
You don't got to pull my leg. I'll go South Florida. Just 23 is just a huge number. And honestly, in this game, kind of to take a play out of Julian's book, I would rather play the over because I know that South Florida hasn't played any defenses, but they can score some points as long as they're not getting shut out, like 45-0 or anything like that. So I think the over, if South Florida could even get, 14 points, I think that's the way to attack it, but I'll take 23 points. Why the hell not?
Okay. I'm laying. I'm with Carl. He said it so confidently. I'm just saying it based on that. Julian, laying or taking BYU, South Florida?
Speaking of losing 45-0, that's exactly what South Florida did against NC State in the first game of the season. Right. South Florida stinks. They did backdoor Florida at home on a look-ahead spot for Florida to Bama.
True.
But so for the purpose of this exercise, I thought we were going to make it through this whole thing without getting to a game I'd actually bet. For the purpose of this exercise, I'm laying it with BYU. But my actual best bet that I'm giving out on Draftkings, writing up on the Draftkings playbook, is BYU -13.5 first half. That Florida score was, I think, 35-7 at halftime with them. Week 1, they lost 45-0 to NC State. I think that was like 28-0 at halftime.
Oh, wow.
And then last week, South Florida didn't even cover against an FBS school or an FCS school. So,
oh, God.
BYU's good.
I like that. It took us 7 games to get there. Well, this is the last game. It's perfect.
I have something I like.
I like it. It's Arizona State 14.5 against Colorado. Now, Arizona State's coming off the loss at BYU. They're laying this big number. Colorado played Texas A&M tough 2 weeks ago, 10-7 loss at home. Newbie, laying or taking 14.5 Pac-12 late at night game.
Again, like none of these would really actually like make my betting card,
No.
but to be like Julian, for sake of exercise, I'll take the points here because when they made this line over 2 touchdowns for Arizona State, they did look in the risk room and say, oh, this team beat the running Rebels of UNLV and Southern Utah. Like I get it. You know what I mean? Okay, Herm Edwards, he's going to be playing to win the game. I'll take the over 2 touchdown dog, and I'll take the Buffaloes. I think this game's going under, though, for what it's worth. Wow,
you took the dog. God, you kind of sold me, but you didn't. I'm laying. I'm taking Arizona State. I can't do it. We play to win the game, Herm Edwards. Herm Edwards. What did I say Herb for?
Yeah.
Herb, I didn't take the test, Herb. I'm not taking the fucking test. All right, Julian, what do you got? Arizona State.
This game perplexes me. Arizona State's 0-3 against the spread.
They are.
Colorado lost 30-0 last week as a 2.5-point favorite.
They did.
Give me Colorado. I'll take the points.
Okay.
Coming off that low, you got to be better.
You have to be better.
Yeah, I won't bet this game with any of your money either.
No, hell no. No, not DraftKings money, nobody's money. We ain't betting this game. What do you got, CH? Tie it up.
Yep, I'll tie it up. Old guys against new guys. I'll lay the points.
There we go.
Perfect.
Like all right, that's the college football later taken segment of the show. Well done. Again, Julian will have more stuff tomorrow with B. Howe on Game Within the Game, which is sponsored by DraftKings. You can find that. It drops later in the afternoon, back east, midday, kind of out west, but follow that along. Before we move on to the best lead into a segment that we have, I'm going to give Neuby a chance to catch his breath. I just want to mention the ECSI Sports Service, the East Coast Sports Investors, and Jeff Dawson, another New England guy. He's up there on the Cape or some shit. I don't Martha's Vineyard. I don't know where he's the Cape.
He was I was on a radio show with him last week.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. He's up in the Cape. Will ever wonder what 30 plus years of sports wagering experience and the number 1 ranked sports investors in the world, according to Google, first page looks like? Just go to www.eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. Your sports leaders delivered to you via text and email. What better time to meet the ECSI family than right now? You've got college football, you've got NFL football, you've got MLB playoffs coming up, and oh yeah, the Ryder Cup. And he's a golf guy, very much involved with the golf. He's already cashed 5 or 6 outright winners pre-flop. If you still have questions, he says, ask the real Vegas Dave. Again, not that Vegas Dave, the GOAT guy. He said to ask me, Mr. Sheriff, and fuck that guy, Vegas Dave. No I in team, just winning profits. See you at the goal line. All right, that's the ECSI. Neuby, this football in the gun thing is really taking off. My neighbor Patrick listens to the show, and I had to mention that 2 weeks in a row he's given me winners, and he wants to come on the show. So at some point he's going to be walking the dogs or playing with the kids outside, and he's going to go, Dave, I heard you say you got me on the show. So I'm calling it the segment Patrick's Play, Neighbor Patrick's Plays. All right.
Going to take his plays and get them out here.
I'm just saying, if you hit the 6 games or whatever we're going to do in the 6-shooter stuff, I'm going to kind of give Patrick his props because he keeps sending me these tickets after the fact. I said, Patrick, give me the fucking plays before the show. Take it away, Neuby. Where are we going in the game?
Gladly. That's right. It's time for the most tootin' football segment this side of the Mississippi. Welcome, Cash Considerations listeners, to In the Gun. We go 6-shooter style, covering 6 of the biggest games on the NFL football card, round table style. God damn, that's
God. I mean, that has to hurt.
It does. It does.
Did you see Julian's face? He's like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?"
He was
no. What did I get myself into?
He was more just like, "Why did I agree to do this?" We have a live read heading into this segment where the dude drops the F-bomb cutting a wrestling promo against Vegas Dave, and now this dude's yelling in some Cockney bullshit. All right, let's get into it. How it went. Dave is actually in first place to the surprise of no one. He's actually at an even 7-7 after a 5-3 week one, 2-4 last week. I had the mirror image with him, 2-4 for me as well in the zigzag week 2. I fell prey to some overreactions. I fall to 6-8. Our guests, no pressure, Julian, because they have yet to break 500 at all. Trent was 5-9, or 5-9 is the overall record. Trent was 3-3 and one good. While Big Ten Ben knows the college side of things, the pros, not too nice for him in week 1. After an 0-7 start, though, CH chipping away with he's now at 4-9. So the lone winning week last week at 4-2. So let's get into it. First game on the card. We're going right to you, Julian, as Bengals are visiting the Steelers. This one opened at 6, but has just been crashing down. Steelers now a 3-point favorite against the Bengals. Thoughts on this game, Julian?
There was obvious value on the Bengals at one point in time with all the injuries for Pittsburgh, specifically to Roethlisberger, because of the drop-off that you get at quarterback there. So the question then becomes, how low can it get down to when the value on the Bengals is gone? That Steelers defensive front is going to get a lot of pressure on a poor Cincy offensive line and have Burrow running around, which concerns me. And Pittsburgh already, they looked like something special in week 1. Now we already learned that they're a Jekyll and Hyde type of team in the early going. Man, I'm tempted to take Cincy here because I think that the reason why the coin flip for me, I guess, I'm probably not going to bet this game, is that I think there is something to the Roethlisberger injury with the Steelers saying we need other guys to be ready. So if Roethlisberger is going to not last this game, I'll lean to Cincy in the points.
The thing for me is I feel like that TJ Watt injury is the one to track even more than the Roethlisberger injury, to be honest. Now they're saying he has a chance to play. I would probably look the other way. Steelers laying the 3, but this number sucks. I completely agree. If it was at 6, if you got it on the Bengals then, but I just, it's tough for me to back the Bengals at only 3 points on the road. CH, what say you, man?
I'll back the Bengals 3 points on the road.
There he goes.
I'm concerned about the injuries. Your best player in defense is fighting something. Your quarterback has got a torn pec or whatever he's got. I got to imagine it's pretty hard to throw a football if you got a pec injury.
I feel like, if Roethlisberger isn't injured, though, he sucks. But when he's injured, he just like balls out. So maybe he needs to be injured. I don't know. Dave, what do you think? You're our Steelers guy. You got nighttime in Pittsburgh behind you. Is the sun setting in Pittsburgh, or are they covering this number?
This is exactly what they do. It's just usually week 7 or 8 where he's dinged up. He's got this, he's got that, some bullshit. He's playing. They're winning. They're covering. Let all these people bet the Bengals all the way down. They took all this number. I got the CLV can, a picture of it for the Twitter feed. I sent it last week. All them people had the Bengals with the CLV bullshit. They lost to the Bears. They're going to lose again. Until the Bengals can go back to Pittsburgh and win, they go to Pittsburgh and lose. It's just what they do. Steelers -3, easy. Forget it.
Yeah, I'm with you. As I kind of mentioned after Julian's take, I'm laying the points with the Steelers as well. I'm going back to you, Dave, because we got to save the Boston boys for last on this one, because we're going to the Saints visiting the Patriots. Now, this one opened at a pick'em. You could talk me into a bounce back spot for the Saints, sure, but you could also easily talk me into a rout for the Patriots here. They let the Dolphins steal one off of them in week 1, and people want you to think they're looking ahead to the Tom Brady game. Yeah, I'm not buying it. I'll lay the 3 with the Patriots. What are you thinking, Dave?
Absolutely lay it with the Patriots. This is the revenge tour. This is everybody got their shots in it. Belichick last year. He gets to devise a plan to play defense against Jameis Winston.
Yeah,
I mean, if there isn't an easier narrative to read, I don't know what is. I couldn't find the prop today, but I want to bet, will Jameis throw an interception? Yes or no? I want to bet yes for all of it. He's going to throw at least one pick, likely 2. New England -3 for me.
Well, I got you. We already know your prop segment for those reading ahead, but I'm going to Julian on this one. Two non-Boston guys making the points for the Boston team. What are you thinking in this one, Jay?
Well, first of all, we pride ourselves on DraftKings Sportsbook at getting props up early. Jameis Winston over a half an interception, minus 215.
Oh,
everybody's got the right idea.
Little bit juicy. I was thinking like
that
minus 150.
That should be 1.5 interceptions and see what that number looks like instead of a half.
Yeah. That would be much closer to a pick 'em at the 1.5. But I will say I laid minus 180 on Jared Goff interception on Monday Night Football. It got there. For the Pats, I do lean to the Patriots. I think that they do kind of have some ground to make up from losing a game that they should have won to open the season against Miami. They feel like they need to get one back. And the Jets wasn't one they needed to get back. That was just a gift wrap, just like the Jets are going to gift wrap one for the Broncos this weekend and gift wrap a lot of ones for a lot of teams this weekend. So this is their first game that they, again, need to get. They lost the first coin flip. I think they're going to win this coin flip. And this game's going under.
See, I like that under as well. Yeah, I was
like that under too.
Exact same thing. CH, what are you thinking, man? Are you gonna have to be the lone detractor and take the Saints here?
Are you new here? Are you kidding me? You know I don't bet Patriots games, but I did bet them last week, and I don't bet.
Are you betting them again this week?
I don't bet Patriots games, but I'm betting them again this week. I mean, for the purposes of the show, I'm obviously taking them, but I will bet it too, because like Dave said, I'm not convinced that Jameis Winston isn't that guy who threw 97 picks 2 years ago when he was a starting quarterback. He's only thrown 42 passes in 2 games. You know why? Because they don't want him to throw interceptions because they know they're going to lose. Yep. Now, when you got a guy like Kamara and you can hand off the ball and do a little dink and dunk with him, you can get away with that. But this week, after what we saw with Zach Wilson last week throwing all the picks, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jameis throw more than 2 this week. I'll take the pass.
You can hand it off to Alvin Kamara and have him absolutely screw my fantasy team and get 5 yards. Thanks a lot, Kamara. Diamond teeth weren't smiling last week, and I don't know if they're going to be smiling this week again. Chargers are visiting the Chiefs. The Chiefs. The narrative all week long, you've heard everybody worth a spit saying they're the worst ATS team in the world. CH, I'm going right back to you. Your favorite quarterback, Justin Herbert, visiting the Chiefs, minus 6.5, the number 4, the Kansas City home squad. What are you thinking, man?
Yeah, he's been my favorite for the last 2 weeks because he threw a pick both weeks, and I'll take that. Thank you very much. Honestly, the Chiefs have to prove to me that they can cover a spread. And right now, they haven't proved it. They haven't proven it the whole second half of last year, and they haven't proved it to start the season off. I'll take the points. Give me the Chargers. And I hate the Chargers.
Dave, what do you think? Are you wearing your powder blue hat come Sunday? What are you thinking, man?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to wear it on one of the shows rest of the week. I have I actually have a throwback Breeze jersey from way back in the day. That's how old I am. I'm with CH. I got to see it. I mean, you feel like you're part of the crowd. I'm tired of like all the sharp guys. They'll bet Kansas City. They bet them last week. Open the game 1.5. Goes to 3. Goes to 3.5. Goes to 4. Finally, somebody came in on the Ravens, but the Chiefs took them down again. Chiefs are going to take them down again. The Chargers are going to play this game close and then blow it at the end. How many times? It's the same rinse and repeat cycle. I'm taking the Chargers plus the points, but the Chiefs win the game.
Julian, it's looking like we might have some consensus here. Where are you going, brother?
Yeah, it's tough. Like the Chargers, I think this is an amazing number that they're 8-2 straight up in their last 10 regular season games and 1-9 against the spread in those 8 games. It's
Anthony Lynn.
tough. It's tough to win that many. Did I say Chargers? I meant Chiefs.
You meant
yeah. Sorry.
Okay,
yeah,
Chiefs. Sorry, the Chiefs. 8-2 last 10 regular season games, 1-9 against the spread. It is hard to win that many games and not get the cover in those. So they've been narrow. And the reason that people keep blindly betting the Chiefs is because prior to that run, the Chiefs were on a 15-2 ATS run. So they were covering every game, and then they just stopped covering. So I'm not gonna bet the game, but I'm taking the Chargers here.
And I'll be the lone detractor. I'm going to lay with the Chiefs here. I'm going to be the square guy. I mean, I know Andy Reid like the back of my hand. I have lost my voice. I have broken controllers because of Andy Reid as a Birds fan, but the dude's awesome after a loss. And that's just a fact. I think
true.
The Chiefs are going to be up for this one. And the thing is even though I like Herbert a lot, you don't have to worry about him running for 107 like Lamar. And if Lamar had to pass that whole game, I don't know if it ends up the same way as it did. I'm going to lay with the Chiefs on this one, and I'll be the lone detractor. I'm going right back to you, Julian, as we are 2 games left in our 6-shooter here in the gun. Game of the week, Buccaneers, the line that just keeps flipping back and forth. And yeah, I forgot the Sunday night football game. It's because it's fucking Packers, man. It's when I see a guy with a man bun, it just completely glosses over because I feel that power. So yeah, 3 games left here. Buccaneers -1.5 on the line that just keeps moving one way, moving the other. They're visiting the Rams. Julian, what are you thinking in this game? I cannot wait for this football game. I am super excited for this matchup.
I think this might be, and I want to make it clear that I like the Bucs on Sunday Night Football in New England. I think this might be more of a look-ahead spot for Tom Brady than it is for the Patriots. Because it's big for him to come in here and look good in that Sunday night game. The Rams are by far the best defense that the Bucs are going to face, and Stafford and those receivers, if there's one biggest weakness on both of these very good defenses, it's the Tampa secondary. Yes. I'm riding a free play on Tampa +500 to be the last undefeated team in the NFL. So I'll be rooting. I have Tampa division. I'll be rooting for the Bucs in this game. I like the Rams.
He's going with the Neuby reverse mush. I love that. CH, what do you think? And we get another chance to talk about your boy, Tom Brady. In this one, where are you going? Rams, Bucs 1.5-point favorites.
So the only thing I want to see is I want to see Brady throw for like 300 yards because he needs 500 to pass Breeze. If he throws for like 300 this week, that means there's no way in hell he's not going to break the record in Foxborough next week, which would be fucking fantastic. But we're looking ahead. I'm not going to look ahead. I don't think the Bucs are going to look ahead either, but I also don't think they're going to beat the Rams. Give me the points. I'll take the 1.5.
Wow, the bait and switch. Sometimes when you hear Boston guys talking about Tom Brady, you almost feel like they like Tom Brady more than they like their own teams. There may be some of the people out there who truly do, and Carl might be the leader of that fan club. Dave, where are you going in what seems to be the game of the week?
So on every show that I've been on and will continue to be on this week, this was the topic of discussion and the line move. So it opens up what the line should be, and ultimately what it probably will come back to. But you open Rams -1 to get the Tampa money initially during the week. You make Tampa the favorite. As the public comes in, now they're laying 2 or 1.5, whatever it is, until the bad guys come back in on the Rams. They play both sides of these games. They take whatever side is the dog. I think the Rams defense is the best unit. I think the Rams win this game at home. This is their Super Bowl. I think Tampa, and it's going to be a great game, and Tampa can win. I just like the Rams. I want just Brady to lose once early, because all this talk, they're going to lose at home. There's no fucking chance. I don't know what the number's going to be next week, but Brady's coming to fucking lay it on. They're going to kill New England next week. But this week, they lose. The Rams win. Give me the Rams plus the points.
Now, before we move to the next game, this is my little chance to pat myself on the back because I knew this line was going to flip because I love hitting openers. That's my absolute favorite thing to do. I usually get most of my NFL bets in on Sunday night when the lines first come out. So what did I do? I took the Bucs on the teaser week bonanza, took them up to 7.5. Once the line flipped, I hit the Rams. I have them in another teaser up to 7.5. All I want in this game is a close game. Let's keep it within a touchdown so I can hit both of those teaser legs and keep on rolling in Teaser Palooza this week. Nice. I'm going with the Rams as well, so that means bet the house on the Bucs, our first full consensus pick which actually
against Tom Brady.
Yeah, against Tom Brady. That's never good. That's never good. God. All right, let's keep on rolling here, boys. We got 2 primetime games left. We got Sunday Night Football. It is that man bun wearing gentleman, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers as 3.5-point underdogs against the 49ers. I saw earlier today, guys, Warren Sharp tweeted out that the 49ers are the worst home favorite since 2014. They are 4-20-2 against the spread. You think when Kyle Shanahan came on, it got any better? Nope. 4-12-1. That is tied for the worst ATS home record in the NFL. That again from Warren Sharp on Twitter. The squarest pick on the board this week is the Packers. Sometimes the square plays win. I'm going to go in solidarity with the man bun gentleman, A-Rod. Packers plus 3.5 for me. What say you, Dave?
Damn it. I was ready to pick the Packers. And you give me all that stuff. Like, I mean,
Sorry.
I was.
That's a good presentation there, I will
That
say.
was great. No, I'm gonna take. Don't the Packers lose every time they go to San Francisco? Aren't they one of the teams that go and lose there? They do. They suck there. I'm gonna take San Francisco. I still don't know who they are, what they do best, but I mean, I don't think they know either. You're right. We're just gonna lay it. This thing's down to 3 in places. 3 minus 15 at Draftkings. Wow. I guess people are betting Green Bay. Not for me. San Francisco.
What about you, Julian? What are you thinking? 3.5. That hook's a little brutal. Probably would like a little better at 3, but are you laying or taking here?
Yeah, this is a tough one. But I'm glad you gave those numbers because I was going to take the Packers here, and I was going to say San Francisco has a problem covering at home. I didn't know they were quite to that extent. Now I'm terrified that the Packers could just show a complete dud on the road again, like they did in week 1, like a home game, a primetime home game against the Lions. Doing well in that is worth nothing. However, I just do think that the Packers have more to play for here. I'm going to go with the Packers on the road.
CH 49ers, Packers, man bun fiesta. What are you thinking?
You keep taking shots at the man bun. Didn't you have one like 2 weeks ago?
I'm not
on the
taking
show?
shots at it. I appreciate it. That's what I said. I'm rolling with my man bun.
Got it. Got it.
It just distracts me.
Yeah, short week on the road. Give me Jimmy G. I'll lay the points.
Jimmy G always comes back. He's a Patriot tie. Gotta lay it. All right, last one on the board here, boys, before we get to prop total side. Eagles at the Cowboys. I'm wearing the Go Bird shirt. I'll go last on this one. Cowboys minus 3.5. CH right back your way. Do my Birds have a shot on Monday Night Football?
Nope.
Oh, all right.
I said it last week too. And I'm all aboard this Dallas. I think Dallas is going to win this division. I'm
like that's some accomplishment.
True. They're going to finish 7-10 and win the division. No, I think Dallas. Dak looks really good, and that's a big difference to that team. So 3.5 isn't enough. I'll lay him.
Even with the latissimus Dorsey acting up a little bit there.
Whatever.
He says hell to the Dorsey. What are you saying, Dave? Cowboys minus 3.5. Eagles burned you as the home dog with this same number last week. You going back to the well, my man?
I am. I can't resist it. I can't do it. I mean, like, Dallas plays defensively good.
The Eagles.
Yeah, I got to do it. I'm buying. Norm's listing, Nate's listing. They're all listing. Philly plus the points. I don't like it, but that means it's probably good. Give me Eagles.
Julian, what are you thinking? You breaking the little streak we have? He has Cowboys, he has Eagles. You got to break the tie. What are you thinking?
The Cowboys have opponents have left like nearly 40 points on the table in 2 games so far.
That's fair.
Tampa, those 2 fumbles back-to-back, back and giving Dallas the ball at like the 20. And then Godwin has a touchdown that he fumbles away on the end zone. That turned into 16. Chargers have 2 touchdowns called off the board. Last week, miss a field goal. Herbert throws an interception into the end zone while in the red zone. It's going to catch up to Dallas. My question is, does it catch up this week? Divisional Monday night game, yeah, I'll take it at over a field goal. I'll take plus 3.5 with the Eagles.
I like it. You guys are giving me a little pep in my step here. For me, I got the Go Bird shirt on. It's Dallas week. I'm jazzed up. I'm pumped up. Screw the Cowboys. No, I'm taking the Cowboys. I'm laying the 3.5. Look, San Francisco was one of my lone winners last week. I had 2 of them, and San Francisco was one of them.
Yep.
Just at this point, I can't trust this Eagles team just yet. They're fun to watch, finally. Maybe some people disagree last week. I saw more that I liked than I didn't like, but you had play callers who are literally going into their 3rd game ever calling plays. What do you expect? You know, against Mike McCarthy, sure, they might be able to do a little razzle-dazzle. The one thing that is good, the defense of the Eagles has looked a lot better than I expected. The offense looks exactly how I expected. So I want to go the Eagles. I want to ride them with the points. I just can't quite yet. I'll take the Cowboys and the 3.5 and hope for another Neuby mush. I might pick against the Eagles all year long. I don't know if it keeps working out for me. If they win, it's a lock. Which brings us to, as we keep rolling along, beautiful Cash Considerations listeners. It's time for one total, one side, and one prize. That's right. The segment that is sweeping the nation. Trent's kids on TikTok call him the Fade King. Well, last week in our segment, he was 0-3. He was the Fade King. All 3 of us, interestingly enough, were 2-1. But here's the crazy part: is I missed my side, Dave missed his prop, and Carl missed his total. So figure that one out. I didn't hit my side thanks to some bullshit late picks, 6s in the Falcons game. I had them plus 13. I was about to text. I had the text in the drafts. And I told you guys I thought they were going to win outright. And then once you get the text in the drafts, that's when you know you're done for. Don't count the chickens before they hatch. Dave didn't get his prop home as Belichick kept the training wheels on Mac Jones, only 186 passing yards. His total was 244. Dave had the over. Maybe this week, maybe against Tom Brady. Now, Carl would love that. CH missed out on his total after Jameis Winston remembered, oh yeah, I'm Jameis Winston, and the under 45 cashes in the New Orleans-Carolina game. So that is what happened last week. Shout out to Anthony Riscotti on Twitter. Thank you for listening to the show, my man. He loves the new segment. He said, hey, could you guys maybe have the winner of the week prior bat leadoff? And that would be CH, because his Herbert to throw a pick prop was plus money. I also saw that Herbert only had like 5 picks in like the past few games or something like that. So that was actually like a sharp side play from CH. He's in the lead with plus 1.02 units up. CH, the floor is yours, brother. Total, side, prop, my man.
So I'm a big fan of being able to go first and hopefully pick games that you guys have on your radar. I think a game that doesn't have a big enough number, Arizona is going to blow out Jacksonville this week. Jacksonville is not good. The more I see Trevor Lawrence, the more I see Anthony Spicoli in a football uniform. I don't get it. I think the Cards are going to blow out Jacksonville. He's going to throw another 6 picks. So give me the Cards minus 7.5 over Jacksonville. My total, this Ravens-Lions number isn't high enough. I think the Ravens may cover it on their own, to be honest. It's 49.5. I'm going to go with Baltimore, Detroit over 49.5. And my prop, I'm committing to you guys right now. I'm only doing plus money props all year long. I'm not going to take it easy. I'm not going to go the safe route. I'm only going plus money this week, even against probably the best defense he's going to see all year. I'm going to take Brady over 2.5 touchdowns. He's got so many weapons. Even if Brown doesn't play, he's got so many weapons. Over 2.5 touchdown passes. He's hit it 6 out of the last 8 games. That's at plus 141. So Cards over by more than 7.5. Ravens, Lions over 49.5, and Brady over 2.5 touchdowns at plus 141.
That is tight right there. We're going to go to our esteemed guest, Julian Edlow. We got side, prop, total. What do you got for the Cash Considerations listeners, my man?
So this is a really interesting week. I'm not much of a total bettor, to be honest, but I'm on 2 this week, one that I'll give out here. And for sides, there is a chance that I don't bet one single NFL side on its
brutal
own.
this week.
Just
It's
teasers, though.
brutal.
I might not bet one side. That said, I might bet 2 or 3 teasers.
Yep.
So as my side, I'm just giving a teaser, and it's partially what Carl already hit on. And it starts on Thursday night. It is a Carolina Panthers, Arizona Cardinals teaser. Gets the Panthers down to 2, gets the Cardinals down to 1. Actually took it earlier in the week when the Panthers were at 1.5 in it. But, the road big favorite Sam Darnold on a short week, like, kind of scary. But come on, like, the Houston Texans are going to go on a short week with Davis Mills against a Carolina team that people want to talk about Darnold because it's a cool story coming from New York. The Carolina defense has looked really good. Davis Mills isn't going to win this Thursday night game, and the Jaguars have lost 17 games in a row. So there's my analysis on that one. Carolina, Arizona teaser is my side. I honestly think I'm not going to bet a single side on its own this week.
Wow.
The total I touched on a little bit. It's the under 42.5 in Saints at Patriots. It's just Winston scored 7 points on the road last week. Belichick, we already talked about him potentially getting picked off. Belichick isn't letting Mac Jones throw the ball downfield. They're a run-first team. Belichick against Sean Payton, like, these guys are going to want to make, this their buddy. They're going to want to get cute, show each other all these defensive schemes. Like, this one has grinder written all over it. Prop. I have to ask you guys a question. Do I have permission to give you a prop that won't be graded until next week? Because I am so confident in these props.
I love it.
Now you have to.
Better.
Now you have to.
Super goat whale play. Julian Edlow.
Guys, Rob Gronkowski's touchdown props on a week-to-week basis are like high plus 100s, low plus 200s. By a numbers scheme, even if you tick it down a little bit because it's going to be popular, he's still going to be like plus 150 or better to score a touchdown on Sunday Night Football in Foxborough. There's no way in hell Brady is not getting him a touchdown in Foxborough on Sunday Night Football.
Nice.
Gronk plus money, whatever, 4-unit, 5-unit type of play for me. No chance. I'll probably take the Brady touchdowns over too, but we're doing one prop. Rob Gronkowski, week 4 touchdown prop in New England. Big play.
The only way it doesn't happen is if he gets hurt. That's it.
That's
if he gets hurt this week,
which has happened to him.
That's fair.
Right. We got to keep that in mind. But
There's no way he
wheel his
misses
ass
that game.
out. They're gonna they can wheel his ass out.
Yeah, he'll literally be like, give me all the cortisone. Give me whatever you have to shoot me up
I
with.
gotta
I
go
ain't missing
play.
this game. Dave, I'll let you go, and then I'll get it, and we'll wrap it up here. What are you thinking? Side, total, prop? I know you mentioned you didn't have anything that you really loved on the prop side of things. Where you going, my man?
So I am going to just make it known now that I'm probably going to stink at the props because I look at them Wednesday morning, and it's very limited. And then I don't really look at it again. They come out later. So I kind of just throw it together. But just to prove a point, I'm going to do the Mac Jones prop again. But this time I'm going to flip-flop, and I'm going to go under. So it's 220.5 on DraftKings, pretty much locking up the fact that he's going to throw for 300 and they're going to kill the goddamn Saints. I'm going under Mac Jones passing yards. My side, a couple we touched on. I really loved the Bears last week, and I would have used them for all 3 of these things if I could have. I don't really love anything. I'm with Julian. Like, this sides this week are tough. The numbers are already shaping up to be like a tough week. I want to use the Steelers, and I got Falcons, Eagles, Rams down as my choices, and I don't want to use any of them. So I'm going to say fuck it and use the Steelers. They're going to win this game. That's it. That's just the explanation. The total is going to be pretty simple. I didn't wear it. I wore it on the show with B. Howe on Monday. Go back and look at the clips. Denver Broncos against the Jets. The Jets are going to score 10 points against the Denver Broncos. The total in this game is 41.5, 42. I don't think it matters. It's going to be close. It's probably going to be 28-10, 27-10. Denver wins. The game stays under. We're going to keep this theme going until somebody is able to block for Zach Wilson. They're going to give up a lot of sacks. As long as he don't throw 4 picks again, game goes under. Side, Steelers. Total, Denver Jets under. Prop, Mac Jones under. 220.5, Mac the knife.
Going back to the well, but flipping the side you're going on. I'll start with my total. I think Monday Night Football is going under, and betting unders in prime time has sucked this year. Terrible. But that, I never say anything's due, but that has to regress to the mean eventually. And I think everybody's thinking this is going to be insanely high scoring because of Dallas's offense. But outside of the last matchup between these two teams that saw 54 points, the last time the Eagles and the Cowboys have exceeded the total of 52, which is what it's sitting at right now, both of those, for what it's worth, were overtime games that tied 52. The last time it exceeded this total was 2015, an overtime win for the Eagles in Dallas, 33-27. I don't think that's happening. NFC East games are rarely a shootout. Give me under on Monday Night Football, Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys. My side, like you guys, I hate the board this week, but what is Baltimore amazing at doing? Beating bad teams and beating them soundly. I would much rather have this in a teaser, go through 7, go through 3, but they're not going to be flat over their big win against the Chiefs. I'm laying 8 on the road with the Ravens, -8. That's my side this week. And for my prop, hope we got some early listeners tuning in, because I'm going to Thursday Night Football. I'm going Sam Darnold to throw an interception, the CH special, +110. Everyone remembers the infamous seeing ghosts games that Darnold had on Monday Night Football. So I wondered, does he just suck in prime time? And guess what? He does. Small sample size, guys, but I think it's those bright lights that has him seeing Casper, the friendly ghost. He's played in 5 night games in his career. In those games, he's a resounding 1-4 with a 52% completion percentage. He's thrown 4 touchdowns in primetime games versus 8 interceptions. I think he's good for a duck tomorrow night against the Panthers team that's already +1 in turnovers early in the season. Give me Sam Darnold at plus money, +110 to throw an interception, with wraps it up for the most rootin' tootin' football segment this side of the Mississippi. David, that's in the gun. That's your side, your totals, your props, and more football than you can stake a stick at. Back to you, Mr. Consigliere.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Well done again. I'm glad you didn't hurt your voice. That's In the Gun, hosted by our man, Dan Alexander. Neuby Talks Neuby. All right, we got one segment left. That's it. It's called Take a Minute. We just kind of rant, rave, whatever you want to talk about. You have free reign to fire away. Julian, I'm going to let these guys go first. We always go, these guys go first. You get a feel for what, you can say, do whatever you want. Again, I don't want to get you fired, but you can fire anybody you want, say whatever you want.
Beautiful.
So first, I think last week we went Neuby first. So we're going to go Carl first this week. CH, real quick before you start, the Ryder Cup is this week. Will you watch it at all?
If it wasn't this weekend, I would say yes.
Are you going to bet it at all?
I might. I'd have to do it early. We actually are going away for the weekend. It's my wife's birthday this weekend, so I will be off the grid.
Traveling. All he does is travel. That's great.
That's true.
You got the house paying. He says, "This is good. Keep working." All right, fuck it. You ain't watching golf. You're going. Where are you? Never mind. I don't want to ask where you're going. Off the grid. Off the grid. He's going away with the wife. He ain't gonna be watching golf. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. All right. CH, coordinating producer, social media manager, email guy, and obviously co-host of the show. Your Take a Minute segment starts in 3, 2, 1.
Last week, I had 2 things. This week, I'm going to cram 4 things into my Take a Minute. First, the cheapest seat at Gillette Stadium for the Patriots-Bucks game right now is $459 for one seat. Save your pennies, kids, if you want to go to the game. Second, today, September 22nd, is my sister's birthday. Happy birthday, Cheryl. Number 3, if this show went another 17 minutes, it would actually be September 23rd because it's now 11:43 p.m. If we went another 17 minutes, it would be the 20th anniversary of one of the most important dates in New England Patriots history. On September 23rd, 2001, Mo Lewis delivered a hit on the then greatest quarterback in the history of the New England Patriots, Drew Bledsoe, knocked him out, and it started the new era, ushering in the greatest quarterback and greatest player in the history of the NFL 20 years ago tomorrow, or as you're listening to this, hopefully on Thursday, 20 years ago today. And then lastly, our long national nightmare is over, or maybe it's just my nightmare. After 32 days and 17 1/2 beers with this final mouthful, I will never, ever have to drink Coors Light again. And that's my minute.
Yes, you did it, Carl. You made it through the Coors Light.
Oh,
Beautiful.
that's it. That was for you, Bama Mafia Picks. Thank you, sir. Good work, CH, at Carl Haskell on Twitter. Newbie, it's hard to follow. Last week, the Bavarian Motor Works Company felt the wrath. This week, he gives, another mention to Tom Brady and the greatest day in Patriots history on September 23rd. How you even know that? That's ridiculous.
It's all over Twitter today. That's the only reason I know.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. I was
had
gonna say,
to
you
look
knew that? Like,
somewhere.
you
No,
doing
it's
research
marked on
stuff?
the calendar. He's forgotten his anniversary before. He's never forgotten that. Let's be real.
Dan, Alexander, Neuby, to all friends of the show. Your Take a Minute segment, sir, starts in 3, 2, 1.
All right, Dave, I think you're going to vibe with this one, and I'm going to try and keep it as short and as tight as I can. There has been a lot of talk on shows and on Twitter and even on TikTok about flat brim hats and who is allowed to wear flat brim hats, right?
Right there.
So to me, I think it comes down to, who can pull it off. Some people say there's an age cutoff.
Yeah.
I personally think it has to be case by case. Now, when I wear a flat brim hat, despite the fact that I'm under 30, I look like even more of a douchebag than people already assume that I am. So for me, the flat brim doesn't work. It's dad hats all the way for me. Give me the Brent brim. I'll do it the baseball style. It's just how it works for me. When Jay-Z at age 51, to knock down the age, when he wears a flat brim hat, he looks like the swaggy ass mogul that he is. So he obviously should keep rocking them. He should keep wearing them, so to speak. Now, you know what Dave looks like when he's got a fire jersey on with a flat brim lid to match? He looks like the motherfucking consigliere who don't take shit from nobody. Keep rocking that flat brim, Dave. There's a great line from a movie I love called The Interview. It stars James Franco and Seth Rogen. Franco says, haters, they're peanut butter and jealous. Anybody hating on the flat brim is because they can't rock it like you, Dave. I love it, man. Do you? I love the flat brim. I can't pull it off. Much like how you got the man bun envy when I rock it, I got the flat brim envy when you rock it. That is my take a minute. Keep rocking those flat brims, brother.
Outstanding. Thank you, sir. Yeah, our friend north of the border had a little comment about that, and I said,
hating on the flat brim, man.
He can't hate on the flat. He can't do it. I mean, if it works, if you got the head to do it, do it. If not, I can bend that thing, curl it up. It's okay too. All right. Good work. Julian, that's what it is. You just pick something you want to talk about. It's not a hard out. It's a minute rant. You can keep going, entertain the audience. Just want to remind the listeners, the Draftkings content specialist, the host of the Unreasonable Odds podcast, Julian Edlow, at Julian Edlow on Twitter. Jules, you take a minute segment. Thanks for hanging with us this long. You got one more minute. Just, you can bash anything, say anything you want, positive, negative. The floor is yours, sir. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't prepare. Like Carl had a beautiful monologue there. I'm unprepared for this segment, so I'll stick mostly to the gambling side of things. Like I said earlier, I might not bet a single side this week. That doesn't mean that this isn't going to be a week that I bet a lot of things and it's going to be the teasers. And just to use an example, like week 1, the Bills were going to be a teaser piece against the Steelers. They lost outright as 6.5-point favorites. Last week, there were a few that got there. Like you came on the Unreasonable Odds podcast, Dave, and I did the Patriots Broncos money line parlay that got there. Yes. But there was last week, there was the Steelers then became a side against the Raiders at 6.5 that you could use. And Seattle was a 6.5 against Tennessee and lost. So pieces haven't been working. Every year, there's like 2 or 3 weeks where they all fall into place. I think this might be one of the ones. If you throw out the Chiefs against the Chargers, because we don't know there. We all said most of us said Chargers there with the points.
Yes.
But just looking at the Carolina -8, the Arizona -7, Buffalo -7.5, Baltimore -8, and Cleveland -7. I think that all 5 of those could wind up getting there in teaser legs. So keep it responsible. Do your 2 pieces, but like if there is a week to throw in a 4 or 5 leg 6.5-point, 6-point teaser, this could be it. And I will close with saying, as we kind of talked about before the show, with a lot of Tom Brady hype and this game coming up in Foxborough, like. There are these spots in sports betting. Kobe Bryant's last game, his point prop was like 24.5. He scored 60. Scored 60. There are spots that are just too obvious, and you just have to suck it up and take the worst number. Brady yards, Brady touchdowns, Gronk touchdown. Tampa was -3 on the look-ahead line on DraftKings Sportsbook. It's now 5.5. If they do beat the Rams, it's going to be 7. But just bet them. Bet the Bucks, bet the Brady props, Gronk to score, bet it all.
We got all the way. We started the show with a take a minute segment talking about Tom Brady. We finished the show with our guest Julian Edlow talking about Tom Brady. This motherfucker, it's just, we can't get away from him, but it's going to be, I can't wait to watch the game on Sunday. I'm thinking about getting in the car and taking a ride over there, taking the Consig kids to SoFi and seeing Tom Brady in person.
Amazing.
Wow. Yeah. And Pap built it. Pap was one of the guys that was his last job. He worked on SoFi Stadium, put it together. So got a little tour of it outside while it was still being constructed. All right. My take a minute segment starts right now. Quick shout out goes to all the people that I do media hits with all week and all the other shows like I do on Sports Grid and Sirius XM, The Bettor's Eye on MLB Network. I did Unreasonable Odds with Julian. The community is incredible, and we're just meeting a bunch of people. It's been so much fun, and I hope that like you get through all the Twitter hate and all the social media hate, and everybody wants to tell everybody what an asshole someone is or someone they don't know shit or any of that stuff. Just enjoy this. Like, this has been just a lot of fun, and I hope that people realize that. The other thing I wanted to talk about was Sunday night. The Ravens played the Chiefs, and all day I'm watching football, and I did a show in the morning, and I did all this stuff. And my little 7-year-old Kendall, who I call Little Consig, came up to me and said, we're going to the escape room today. And I was like, what are you talking about? I am the last person in this house to know anything. I did not know that an escape room appointment was booked, but it was booked for 5:15 on Sunday. It's 5:15 Pacific, which means the kickoff is at 5:15. Little Consig comes up, tells me at about 1:00, this is the deal. I'm like, what is she talking about? I don't ask again because the Steelers lost to the Raiders, and she already told me that the Raiders were her team because she's from Vegas. She's not a Steeler fan. Me and Mama are Steeler fans, and I tried to explain to her that we're Steeler fans because that's where we're from. And she came right back with, well, I'm from Vegas. That's not my team. You told me they were going to win. And I was like, well, the Steelers were supposed to win. She goes, well, didn't you say they were favored? And I said, yeah. You know what she said? Daddy, you tell everybody they don't know shit. Nobody knows shit. Well, guess what? You don't know shit. Nobody knows shit. And she was right. We went to the escape room. She won. I had a great time. It's called the Escape Room here in Vegas. It's at Caesars. I highly recommend it. If you're in the East Coast, go visit Captive in Ocean City, Maryland, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, or Toronto, Canada. Great places. They take care of you. And, we kind of know the guy that does his stuff. So anyhow, that's it. for the show. Thank you for listening. For the boys, Carl Haskell at Carl Haskell on Twitter, Dan Newbert at Neuby Talks on Twitter, and our guest Julian Edlow at Julian Edlow on Twitter. I am Dave Sharapan, the Sportsbook Consigliere. Thank you for joining us. We'll talk to you guys next week.